details can you provide on the FBI federal investigations into you, your wife, your staff?
Not much more than has already been provided. I mean, this is purely political. People have stated pretty clearly that they were directed to find something. It says everything you need to know about the United States of America under Donald Trump. And so,
ladies and gentlemen, it is finally happening, where Gavin Newsom and his wife is under investigation by the Department of Justice. And Gavin Newsom is having these public meltdowns because the walls are basically closing in and there's nothing that he can do other than blame President Donald Trump. And what he's blaming President Trump for is basically false, because he's trying to say that President Trump launched this investigation into him, which is completely false. And if Gavin Newsom wants to vindicate himself and his wife, what he could do is release his tax returns. And he's failing to do that. Basically, what Democrats were accusing President Trump of doing for years. But before we talk about his tax returns, here we have this video of Gavin Newsom having a complete meltdown over the investigation.
the abuse was overwhelming. Poor and innocent people getting knocks on the door first thing in the morning, having to hire private attorneys, lives and reputation at risk for no other reason they want to take me out, going after my wife. Doesn't have the gut. He's tried. He reported that. Couldn't figure out how to get me. Now he's trying to find anyone around us. That's America. That's abusive. It's wrong. So I wanted to socialize it because I thought it was the right thing to do. People need to know what's going on. And there's a certain point where it's just enough's enough. And we absorbed a lot of it. And I said, this is ridiculous now. Just going in 52 different directions. Again, because they were told, find something, anything.
Whenever I hear Gavin Newsom speaking, I always remember that clip of Gavin Newsom where, and I'm paraphrasing right here, where he was there and he said,
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there rolling our eyes going, give me a break.
And that is exactly what Gavin Newsom is doing right here. Because even in that clip, that statement that he made, he's lying. And here he's lying. That's all Gavin Newsom knows is to lie. Nothing else. Because what he's trying to say is that President Trump directed officials to investigate him. And I honestly don't know why he's making these claims. And this has been proven to be false. Because here we have this article, we have the evidence right here, where Gavin Newsom is claiming that President Trump's Justice Department launched a politically motivated fishing expedition against him, and these claims are facing new scrutiny after multiple reports indicated key federal investigations predate Trump's second term. And the timeline has emerged as a central point in the dispute. While Newsom argues the current Justice Department is weaponizing the investigations against a political rival, multiple news organizations citing sources familiar with the matter have reported that at least some of the investigative activity began before Trump returned to the White House. But Gavin Newsom has maintained that the current Justice Department is weaponizing the investigations in retaliation for his criticism of Trump and his national political profile. So basically, Gavin Newsom is lying. And we all knew this, but I just wanted to show you guys that Gavin Newsom is a liar. And the question is, why is he sitting there lying like that? And I think there could be one of two reasons. I think reason number one, he's trying to run for office in 2028, and he's trying to achieve the same effect that President Trump had when the Justice Department, the Biden's Justice Department, targeted President Trump. But Gavin Newsom is not President Trump, so I don't think he's going to be as successful in that effort. And the second reason is because I think Gavin Newsom is a grifter, because I think he's trying to raise as much money as he can out of this investigation, even though President Trump has nothing to do with this. And just to show you that this investigation began way before President Trump, here we have a reporting that said the FBI infiltrated Gavin Newsom's inner circle under President Joe Biden in 2024.
A stunning new report reveals the FBI recruited a member of Governor Gavin Newsom's inner political circle to wear a wire as early as June 2024. So who was this cooperating witness? Alexis Podesta, a veteran Sacramento Democrat who worked under former Governor Jerry Brown. She did so in 2020. Newsom appointed her then to the board of the State Compensation Insurance Fund. a position that she still holds. She later became a key cooperating witness in the federal corruption case against Newsom's former chief of staff, Dana Williamson, who pleaded guilty in May to federal fraud and tax charges. And that's where the story takes a major turn. The New York Post is reporting, quote, Democrat insider Alexis Podesta secretly recorded conversations during the criminal probe into Newsom's then chief of staff, Dana Williamson. The revelation that she was wearing a wire as far back as June 2024 explains why Sacramento political insiders and lobbyists were stunned to receive FBI letters last fall informing them, and that timeline matters. The wiretap would have been authorized during the Biden administration, and federal wiretaps aren't handed out lightly.
Now, you see that it is clear that President Trump had nothing to do with this investigation, and it began under President Joe Biden, even though me personally, I would like to see a little bit more done in terms of holding these governors of these blue states accountable for all the fraud and everything that we're seeing, especially all the fraud that you see happening in California. But if President Trump has nothing to do with it, then Gavin Newsom shouldn't be let off the hook, sitting up there blaming the president for something that he has nothing to do with. And he should take accountability as well, because at the same time, him and his wife, they're the ones that's being accused of some pretty crazy stuff. And Gavin Newsom can clear all of this up by releasing his tax returns, because Gavin Newsom is doing exactly what the Democrats, they accused President Trump of doing for years, because Gavin Newsom hasn't released his tax returns since 2022, which is a very, very long time. And when asked about it, Gavin Newsom had a complete meltdown. Watch this.
I already have. You've had 20 years of my taxes, yes.
Since 20.
I know you love taxes. Donald Trump, when's he releasing his?
What are you saying is so different from Trump?
Well, I am, because that's why I've released all my taxes for decades, and you will have all those new tax returns, because I have no reason why you haven't gotten them already, so I have no problem.
That was Gavin Newsom having a visceral reaction to being asked about his tax returns, having a complete meltdown. And as I mentioned before, he hasn't released them since 2022. And the question is, what are you hiding? Because if you want to vindicate yourself, all you have to do is release these returns, or maybe it'll implicate them. But I'm not an accountanist or accountant, so I won't be able to tell you. But remember, for years, the Democrats, they said that President Trump was hiding something in his tax returns. And now Gavin Newsom is doing the same thing that the Democrats were accusing President Trump of doing. And because Gavin Newsom is losing support really hard, what Gavin Newsom is doing right now is turning to socialism, which is just insane to me.
But Democrats are at a crossroads as socialism is gaining steam in the party. And potential 2028 hopeful California Governor Gavin Newsom, he says that Democrats can't afford to turn away support even from self-described socialists.
I'm for addition, not subtraction. The Democratic Party needs to be in the addition business if we're going to get back into the majority. I'm not offended by this notion of a big tent. And I think it's important, though, that big tent is a big tent. Because there's folks, on this side that don't want folks on that. I think we'd be better off to look at the things that bind us together, the things we have in common.
Right now, Gavin Newsom, he knows that he's cooked because, for one, he's under investigation, or not him, his wife is under investigation. He's trying to capitalize on that, but people aren't buying it. And two, he's not getting as much support to run in 2028. So what he's doing right now is turning towards socialism, saying we got a big tent as a Democrat Party. This guy is the ideal example of an opportunist who will do anything to gain power. And that brings us to the end of this video. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. I really do appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. What do you think about Gavin Newsom not releasing his tax returns? Do you think he's hiding something? Also, please consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.